My name is Ann Mazar. I'm the chair of the Community Preservation Committee, and I'm a representative from the Land Use Committee on this committee. And this is June 2nd. And why don't we go around the room? And this meeting is being recorded. Why don't we go around the room? Mike?
Mike Mandalay, Concom rep.
Barry Adderall, planning board.
Peter Denton, housing authority.
Nope. And Kathy. Kathy the cat.
Let's start with the cat and then we'll end with the dogs.
And Kathy represents the Historical Commission. Okay. And we don't have a representative from the select board yet, but we will. Or the rec actually, because Dan, I guess they changed the rules where it has to be a member of the commission, not necessarily a staff person. So he might apply for that at-large position also.
Isn't he a park commissioner?
Well, he's like, I think it has to be like a volunteer commissioner or something like that, not a staff person. So he said it's different and he can't be on the committee, so. Yeah. We'll figure all that out. And we have Carl Hummel here from, are you staying in Concom, Carl?
We'll find out as the Conservation Commission goes through the reappointment process.
Oh, okay, so you're also asking for reappointment?
Yes, and that there we
Yeah.
have 4 candidates. Leah is also interested. Leah Whiting is interested in re-upping. Damon Tinio is expressed interest in one other person's name who I'm not sure. I don't know who it is because I never got his name.
Okay, I get it now. I see what you're saying.
So there are 4.
Two
There are now
slots
4 candidates for those 2 slots that are up for reappointment.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm looking to diversify.
I believe the select put a policy in effect that if you're a sitting member on a committee and your term expires, it's not an automatic, you have to join the ranks of applying for the position again.
Yeah, I think that's correct.
That's bullshit.
Yes, it was done last year
Yeah,
and reaffirmed this year.
A couple of people on the finance committee like you said the same thing, and they just said, no.
And if you're listening in and you want to be on the finance committee, we have slots available.
So, is it because it's an appointed position? Like I'm on the planning board, but I'm elected to the planning board, so I'm.
You're elected. You're
Oh,
completely
right.
different.
Yeah, the selectmen can't say that.
Selectmen have no
They can't
control.
put anybody in for the planning board.
No.
The only time the select board gets involved in the planning board is when there's a vacancy like happened last year.
Right.
Otherwise, and that appointment is only until the next annual election.
Or they can hold a special election. They have the power to decide if they want a special election.
Right.
But that costs money, so usually do that.
Yeah,
No.
not doing it.
But then again, we're so fat with cash these days. No telling what-
All right, did you get a chance to read both of the minutes from April and May?
I did.
All right, did you?
Yeah,
look
I looked
over?
at it.
All right,
I think there was
You
one that I
want
wasn't
to-
present on, I believe.
what?
I believe there was one that I wasn't here on.
You can still vote on it. I double checked with Ellen, so even if you're not at a meeting, but you read the minutes, you can approve them. Because it's too hard, to, so, does someone want to make a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion?
Oh, it looked good to me.
All right, all those in favor?
Delay, aye.
I roll around.
Aye.
Schofield, aye.
May's all right. All right. We had an account for removing phragmites from Inman Pond, and that happened last year, but we have $15.66 left in it. So I'd like to move it back into the general account, so we don't have that account. So would someone like to make that motion?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion?
So that program's all.
Concom picked it up this year.
Oh, good.
So, yeah. Mhm. All right, why don't we do roll call vote, Mike?
Mendeley, aye.
I roll around.
Denton, aye.
Oh, she meant Schofield, aye, she
Yeah,
mouthed
Arnold
it.
lips.
You're on mute, Mazer, aye, okay.
No, guy, sorry.
All right. Oh, okay, so then, okay, I'm gonna share my screen. Let's see. Actually, first, it's about 32 Pleasant Street that has unclear title, and it's a good connection for trails. So we've been working to sort of untangle that. And I want to show you a map where it is, so I just need to get the GIS map up. Okay, sorry, I didn't have it up. Okay.
Heading towards Maori off of Millville, is that on the right side or the left side?
It's on, oh, heading towards it again.
Left,
Heading towards Maori from
Pleasant
Millville.
left.
Remember, it's on the left, yeah.
It's that moment the trail goes up behind it, the old Lamont's farm.
Where is the share screen?
But the lots on the Millville end of it are shaky.
Carl, where's the share screen?
It's under 3 dots. No, it isn't.
Yeah,
It's three-
yeah.
No, it's up on the title bar next to the leave button, next to camera and
There.
microphone.
Got it, share.
We need Dan.
All right.
Yeah, we need.
Okay. All right,
Certainly.
so. All right,
So it's
so
on the left going towards Maori?
it's on the left going towards Maori. So I just want to show you,
It's in relation to Peter Allen's old place and,
yes, it's right, it's closer to Maori from Allen's place. It's closer to Maori, closer to Tyler Street, yes. So let me just show you this, okay? Can you see my cursor? Yeah. So this is, actually, I'm gonna be over here.
so Jack Green got Peter Allen's place.
Yes,
And
and he's
the
renting
land
it.
the land towards Maori from Peter Allen's place has got no trespassing signs on it.
And that's Jack's. He has another, lot, but there's one skinny lot that I'll show you in a second. So Meadowbrook Woods, the town, bought this in 2009. We got a big grant for that. And then 2011, we worked with trustees of reservations and they preserved this spot, and then the town preserved this piece. And then you can cross the street here, and we have an easement from Peter Brewer right here that takes you to the town forest over here. And this is actually all, has a conservation restriction on it, but I'm working with Isabella to send the information to GIS so that this is green right here. This is the town forest. Then when the Lamonts sold their land on Millville Road, they gave the town this skinny strip, 173A, and this skinny strip. And I didn't know why they donated it, but I think it's because this is the land that they sold, and I think they didn't want them to develop all of that right through, so that was sort of a barrier. But it connects the town forest to this 32 Pleasant Street, right there, this strip. So this strip is about 10 acres and it would connect you to Pleasant Street, and then you can just walk down Pleasant Street, which is very pleasant to walk on. So it's a nice walk, part of the trail, and it takes you to Meadowbrook Uplands, which we got another grant for. And so it would make a really pretty cool trail connection going through all the different properties here. And that's it. And they haven't, Silas Taft was the last person that owned it in the 80s, and the taxes haven't been paid since the 80s, and they owe I think like 160,000 right now. But the title is really unclear. So we're working with town council, and we had set aside from the land bank money to work through this, but now we're at a point where the state, I can't remember what department, but they're assigning us a title examiner. I can't remember what department it is anyways, and so it would cost like $7,000 to figure out the title, you know, either find out who owns it and see if they wanna pay the taxes, or the town can take it, you know, at some point, because they, you know, they'd have to advertise it for a year and say, you know, are any of the heirs of this property, you know, present, and then the town could have it. And so what I'd like to do is use $7,000 of administrative funds to do that title work. So why don't you ask questions, or what questions you have, I should say. This is the piece here, and then this is Jack Ringa. He owns these two pieces right here.
Where?
This one and that one. And the house is on this one. And the no trespassing signs are like right here.
Do you know who put the no trespassing signs up? There's supposed to be a phone number.
Jack's got his name and phone number.
Does he?
Yeah.
So Jack put them up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
on
his
and
property.
Peter Allen, we're, you know, he bought Peter Allen, so he got Peter Allen's,
Yeah.
Peter Allen's wife. And he renovated that, he got some tenants in that.
Would you get it rented out?
He's renting it out right now.
Yeah.
He was talking about building a house on his land at some point though,
Oh,
for himself,
On his
Yeah.
land,
a while back, but who knows?
Yeah.
I was still working back then.
so I guess someone maybe should make a motion and then we discuss it.
I have a question,
Okay,
if you're
Yeah.
willing to listen to me asking it. You can sort of think of this as the FinCom asking, if you spent the $7,000, are there additional follow-on costs in future years that get involved? I mean, if the town gets the parcel at the end of the whole process, how much does it cost the town to go through the process?
well, it's the $7,000 is the big chunk of what they have to do. And then it's like advertising in the paper and things like that. So it's more, people don't like to go through this process because it takes a long time. And like I've kind of been working on this on and off for at least 5 years, and title examiners look at it and they're just like, you know, they don't want to do it. So it's more of a game of patience.
I remember last fall at special town meeting, there was another bunch of money for a similar landlocked parcel that we couldn't figure out who owned it. So this is more of the same?
Yeah, I'm not sure which one you're talking about, the other one.
Okay.
But that could be, I'm not sure. Yeah, there's a lot of, I mean, there's spots, there's different parcels throughout town that are unpaid taxes and they don't know, you know, who owns it. So, and they're just kind of sitting there. But this one just happens to be a key one because it would be a very good, trail connection.
how big is the lot in question?
This one, it's like 10 acres. It's long as
How much
skinny.
frontage on,
Excuse me?
how much frontage on Pleasant?
It's like 200 feet. Yeah,
So it's actually a buildable lot.
yeah. I mean,
If it has,
if
if it has.
it has wetlands, but
Yeah. Say it again.
There was a fact what there, but
I would just-
it's in the back.
Yeah.
yeah, it has wetlands in the back, it looks
Unless
like.
it's grandfather.
Right.
Well, that's what the title examiner would tell us. When the lot was made, so to speak, that will give us a clue.
Yeah, I mean, they traced it back to this Merrick person, but then that person wasn't paying the taxes. And there's also, this Merrick person said that there's some documentation that he donated half of the property to the library. but they're trying to figure this all out. What the Mendon Library, whatever the Mendon Library was in 1980, you know, around that time. So. I think it would, yeah. It was just a donation to them. But we're not clear if that documentation is valid or what. So that's why the title examiner has to kind of sort through all this. Kathy, do you have any questions?
So what would the $7,000 do?
Pay the title examiner to go through all the documents, and
But would it get you a clear title?
No.
it might not,
That's
but
right. It
at
would
that
identify
point,
who the actual owners are,
it might.
correct?
And if it doesn't, then the town will go through a process of putting an ad in the paper, like a legal notice, you know, saying this property hasn't paid taxes for this amount of time, you know, any of the heirs, if you wanna claim it, let us know. I think you have to do
Why don't
that,
we do that? Period.
because you have to go through this process to legally do it. You have to do a title exam.
Due diligence.
Yeah,
Because
But you have to-
somebody come back later and say that you didn't do it,
right, because you have to,
right, claim to it.
By the by, I'm a
Yeah.
heir of so-and-so who owns this property.
right, because you have to, part of it is that you have, the town would have to do a thorough job of trying to track down the owner. And so that's why you have to do the title exam. But, you know, for 10 acres, $7,000 isn't that much, you know, I mean, it's
Well, what's the back taxes on it?
like 160,000.
So that's what we're reading.
And, so if there's an owner,
I mean, there's two ways to look,
Yeah.
there's two ways to look at it.
Right.
what do you mean, two ways in terms of,
There's two ways to look at it, like he was saying. Well, $150,000 owed to the town.
right, if they find the owner, then they would go to the owner and say,
Right.
you know, can you pay the back taxes? And then they would or they wouldn't. And then they might say no to take the land, or they'd say, yeah, I'll pay the money, and then, you know, so.
That could be a long process because
Yeah. Who did it
if
mail?
I discovered I owned it.
Yeah.
I don't think it's mailing to anyone now because they don't have an address, it's just like, I
That, 150,000 for 10 acres.
I think George Merrick was the last person they sent them to. The owner is Silas Taft. That sounds like such an old name, doesn't it, Silas?
It is. It definitely is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, Patrice Doucette, she took a stab at it and she, you know, found the documents up to a certain point and then it just, you know, kind of died, so. So, would someone like to make a motion?
I'm not ready to vote on it yet, really. So the purpose, the underlying reason why we would like it is it would be a connecting path.
Yeah.
To two different properties.
Yeah, and it's like, it would be 10 acres of open space and it would add to, you know, all this open space here. And then down here, to the town forest and up, whoops, daisy. And then to the here, so it's like a big loop. So it would just be a connection. It's a nice piece,
So which one is this?
this one right here.
There's one, two, correct me if I'm wrong,
Jack Ringa owns these two
the two next to each other, there's
Yeah.
3 fingers there, let's call them fingers.
fingers, yeah. And then there's.
Jack
and
owns the 2 on the right side,
Yes,
and so the one in question is the bigger one on the left.
yeah, and actually this one also is a Silas Taft, you know, has the same situation.
On
But-
the other side.
Yeah, but it's kind of landlocked and maybe at some point,
Is that the whole parcel or just that little strip?
this little thing right here,
So, but there's no lot line at the top of it. See how it takes it right?
right there,
I can't see it.
yeah,
One little
Yeah, there's
line.
a line that cuts it off.
yeah. But this one is the more critical one, but I have a feeling these two properties might follow the same tax title, so then if the work was already done, then maybe the town could take that also, but this is the one.
Yeah, you don't.
I was focused on. And then Tim McCarty owns this, that used to be Paul Sterritt's. And he put a house here. Kathy, do you have any questions?
I don't. I know where the parcel is. I drive by it every day. It's really, it looks very walkable and usable. I think it would be unfortunate not to, use it to connect, because those other two parcels that were donated are so small and irregular, there's not much you can do with them.
Can you watch that again?
Sure.
The green that,
Yeah, I'm looking at that.
what's that green?
This,
That's
What's
what,
that represent?
I think it's wetlands.
so the question is, you're gonna be able to get around that.
Yeah, I mean, you might have to put a boardwalk or a bridge or something like that, like in, we have in other properties. It's a good Boy Scout Eagle project.
You go to Concom for that.
Yeah.
Yes. And it's a limited permit, and the town pays for the permitting process.
Yeah, actually,
It's pretty big. That's 10-acre lot.
yeah. Well,
That looks like at least an acre.
So this looks like there's a couple of small ponds on the south side of it,
here.
right there and then further down.
And has anybody walked the property?
I walked into it. It's a nice piece.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how far I walked back, but it's dry up front, and these are wetlands right here. It's a pretty bend in the road here because there aren't any houses. There will be here. So it's just all wooded, and the trees don't cover the road. It's just a really nice area.
Yeah. I mean, it could be a benefit for Jack that he has privacy on possibly both sides of his property if you're just walking trails and no
Yeah.
additional building.
Yeah. So what are you thinking?
I'm thinking 7,000 is not a high stakes game to get the title worked out, and either way,
I'll take a look at it. I don't want to vote on it yet. But then again, it's a committee, so.
Would you get out there and walk on it?
Ain't going anywhere.
Yeah, but I mean, there's no big rush to jump right in it.
Yeah.
is there?
When would you want to walk on it?
Make sure you put the tick spray on.
Yeah,
They're brutal this year.
Oh, really?
awful.
it's funny, I hear it, but I haven't had that many on me. I think ticks like.
Is there a trail now that to walk in, or are you just gonna be,
No, it's in woods.
so you're gonna basically wander around?
Yeah, I mean, I have a GPS app I use, so I, walked in, but.
Is there a north and south arrow on that map?
I think that this is north. I think that's the direction.
I think once you get to that wetland, you're gonna know where you are.
It's getting to
It's
it,
split.
and you walk around in circles.
It's a little more than halfway through.
Wear your boots.
So, would you want to walk it like next week or this week?
I would,
I would go if you want.
I would call you, but that'd be more of a sporadic thing. I'm working in Franklin.
Right.
And I'm the boss. I might just disappear for a little while,
That works.
I'm gonna go run an errand.
My boss disappears all the time.
Yeah.
All right, So then we could set up a time to walk it if you would like.
I'll get back to you on that. Like I said, if the opportunity arrives tomorrow, I would just jump in.
It'd be a nice day.
Yeah.
All right, okay, so maybe we'll talk about it at the next meeting then.
All right.
Oh, so Dan was doing like the AV stuff at another meeting, another town meeting, I can't remember what meeting, what, maybe it's Ashland or something. And what they do with the CPA articles is they lump them all together
Yeah,
and it's one vote, unless it's like a big,
Yeah, I went to a town meeting on that, and that's the first time I've ever seen that. I didn't really care for it.
that's what we've done all along.
Lump them together?
No, not
I was
lump,
doing that.
no, not lump them together. Oh, you're talking about the
The town
calendar.
meeting.
Yeah, but
Yeah, they took all the articles and they put them together and had one vote.
Yeah,
yeah, they do the articles
That
that are,
whole meeting was, sorry, to me, it wasn't run properly.
well,
The way they did the override and everything.
I like the, I think it's called the consent calendar.
yes,
I like it because it's like, every year you vote on the land use committee, plan, which you can go to the town clerk and read it. You know, every year we have to pay the debt on the police station, you know, so instead of going through each of those, unless someone has a question, you know, then you say, no, I wanna talk about that article. But it does help move the meeting along, and so,
there's two different thoughts on that. When I moved to town, one, because I was brought up in a city, Lowell. Town meeting was all new to me. When I went to my first town meeting here, I was, wow.
Yeah.
You know, they ran through everything, but, you know, I was with my neighbor, my brother-in-law, and friends, oh, who's that? Who's that? Who's this? Who's that?
Right.
And they talked about everything. So in the 40 years I've lived here, it's digressed to, I'll just push it through, nobody cares. And that's my opinion.
yeah, I don't know, I kind of, the
Well,
things
that's one
that are,
thing about this town, every citizen still gets to speak their piece, where like in Milford, you've got precincts.
Right.
That you have a representative, you vote for the precinct, he represents you, so he may completely
right,
think differently than you do. And it's tough, it's just like your representatives in Washington, they do whatever the hell they wanna do instead of what you want to do.
so the idea of the CPAs, if you were there at the meeting, then you saw like, there was a lot of, you know, like the 10,000 for the, historical restoration, 10,000 for, you know, moving the weights and measures. So those articles like that, we would have in one list, and we would read it, read them through, and then tell people to hold if they need more information about it. Or, you know, if they have a question, and if not, then, you know, you vote on it all together. And town council actually suggested that too, when she was watching the meeting, so. And then again, if it's a big, and we all have to vote on it, and then, you know, present it, you know, and, explain it at several public meetings beforehand, there's the run through, there'd probably be articles in the paper, but big articles, like if it was, you know, I don't know, renovating a historical building and it costs a lot of money, that would be a separate vote, so. I like the idea of doing that. But, what do you think?
I think when they first started doing it, it was a good idea. I think now they've expanded it a little bit too much. There's some stuff that got pushed, got included in it, that perhaps should have been discussed on your side.
But in terms of like,
Because, see, now, well, not to digress from the meeting, but you don't have newspaper coverage so people know what the hell's going on.
Not anymore, we don't.
There's no radio anymore.
Right. That's gone.
But a lot of stuff,
It used to be discussed and people
don't,
saw.
right.
Right, because when I got the warrant in the mail, I looked through it, I couldn't even find the override on the warrant. They bunched it in with the budget.
Yeah,
And they
Madam
wrote-
Chair,
There was nothing there that said it was an override.
Madam Chair,
yes,
The select board, FinCom, town administrator, and town moderator are all aware that annual town meeting was chaotic, and we've done some lessons learned. There's going to be some more. Specifically, yes, we are aware there was no warrant article for the override. That will never happen again. And bringing up the point about CPC consolidating, that's another item that's coming out of the lessons learned. The fact that there's no radio, well, we're now using the web, the online forum and the town website to do as much publishing as we can, as well as having meetings and whatnot. So if you have other issues that you want to bring up, you can shoot an email to the town administrator or bring it up with the select board members, or drop an email to the select board admin with what you felt, what you felt was troublesome, and if you have other suggestions on how to improve things. And in general, I will agree with you that there were a lot of things on there that nobody questioned. I'm quite surprised that this year nobody called hold on any of the issues on individual line items in the town budget. Nobody called hold on anything on the consent calendar. I'm seeing the same thing at my church, and I'm just going, people nowadays either don't care, or they're trusting the FinCom and the governing boards to do the numbers the right way.
Too bad they didn't do that with the senior center.
That's going to be worked on. I'm pretty sure that's going to be worked on. In fact, there's a meeting Thursday night to talk about capital planning.
Yeah. So,
I was really upset about that failing.
yeah,
Oh, if they folded it into the budget the way they did this one, you would, yeah, but that's, you wouldn't know that. Well,
so in terms of the CPC though, how do you feel about grouping those together?
I don't have a problem with grouping small stuff together.
The maintenance articles,
Like
you know,
I said, I just don't
percentages
hide stuff.
that you have to vote every year, it's fine.
That's in the consent calendar. I think though, like, when
So
I.
when you
what
say
is the-
consent calendar,
Yeah,
what is the consent calendar?
that's
'Cause
when.
the first time I saw that was at the town meeting, all of a sudden it's in front of me like that, and I know what the hell I'm looking at.
Yeah, it's when they group those, like how we have to vote on the CPC percentages, the land use bylaws, the police debt, other debts. It's all those things that are routine. And then anybody can say, no, I want to talk about the police debt or any of those items, but if nobody questions it, then it gets voted. So then separately, we would do something with the CPC where we would have the grouped items and would read through them and say, does anybody have any questions, or do we need to have a discussion? And then if not, all the CPC items would be voted as one versus going through each item.
Maintenance items I don't have a problem with, but something that's specialized for that particular session
The
should
only,
be separated.
one thing that should be done is people shouldn't have to ask for an explanation. That's one of the things that's, you know, if nobody says anything, nobody says anything.
Yeah.
But, for example, with ours, we know a brief explanation of why we're doing it and what the money is required by state and et cetera. But some people may not, a lot of people don't know that.
Well, one thing we could do is group them together, and then as you're going through the items, a sentence of what it is, you know what I mean? Like, we could do that.
Yeah, but you explain the whole group in one paragraph.
Mhm.
Well, you know, we've got, these are the things we have to allocate the funds for,
Yeah,
and that's why we're doing it, that's all.
yeah.
Madam Chair?
Yeah, so I'm sorry, I keep on missing your hand. I'm sorry, Carl. Okay.
The 2 points. First, the explanations you're looking for are in the town administrator report, which for the last 2 town meetings has been published online at least 1 week prior to the town meetings. So,
That's what's there.
and in terms of,
The average citizen doesn't know it's there. I mean, myself,
You have to be computer literate to find it.
and the annual town meeting report was printed out and was at the table at the entrance as people walked into town meeting on back in May. And as the consent calendar, one of the powers of the town moderator is they can look at the warrant and say which of these articles are not going to stir up a lot of debate and controversy. And he or she, if we ever have a female town moderator, is one of their roles is to group together and create the consent calendar. And as far as I can tell, Tom tried to explain what the consent calendar was at the beginning of the meeting before he started going down it.
I mean, unfortunately, the Milford Daily News doesn't cover Mendon News. We don't have a town crier. You can go on Facebook, and there are Facebook pages, but the Mendon Commons, we're trying to fill that role to some degree. It is online.
That's
Facebook is only
doing it very
it's like
good.
people's opinions. I mean, my wife's got Facebook and I look at it every once in a while, I stay away from it because like I said, it's just,
I do too.
you know, it's just general opinions, it's not facts.
Exactly, that's why we
No, that
started.
comment has been good.
Yeah, it's just that if people knew about it, then we could do an article. I mean, I know that some of the items were covered in articles, but it could be more comprehensive also, you know, if that's something that's needed, which is kind of exciting.
There are a few of us who try and bring facts onto Facebook.
Yeah, but you know, a lot of times you don't know
Yeah,
who is
That's the
bringing the
problem. I don't know
facts.
the facts.
So, I don't know, but yes, so it is a problem though, yeah. But at least you can go in person to a town meeting and ask questions and bring things up. That's a good thing, I think. So anyways, we have till November to figure out how we're gonna arrange that, but I would like to do that, you know, because, I mean, because some of the town meetings when you didn't have the clippers and, you know, you went item to item of the budget, I mean.
I sat through a lot of them until midnight, 1 o'clock.
I know, and the thing is like, you know, I mean, yes, I trust that the town administrator and select board and the FinCom have probably gone through this, unless there's something that really stands out. I don't need to go through every, you know, and that's so tedious that people couldn't, by the time real issues came up, people were like half asleep, you know? So I like the way they do that.
I don't know, again, it's all, we all have our own opinions.
That's it.
But when I came, like I said, when I came to town, and for 40 years, I remember the first 30, people would come there and they would ask questions. Somehow, that got lost in the last 10 to 12
A
years.
lot of times when people were asking questions recently, they were embarrassed for asking the question.
Yeah.
They were treated, you know, like what, you know, why are you asking this question?
They
Some
put time.
responses they got. I mean, I saw it on the town meeting floor that night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry to run her off the
Yeah, no, that's
agenda.
okay. Yeah, no, I think, questions should be answered. I think that one person, you're probably referring to that one person that wanted to vote on Cemetery Street maybe, or something?
No, it's something to do with the school budget.
Oh,
He was asked and, you know, somebody from the school committee got up and talked to him like he was like a second class citizen.
Yeah, well, yeah, that happened quite a bit, I remember
Yeah.
over the years.
well, all right, then, I don't really have anything else, I don't know, I don't think, I said I have to discuss annual town meeting votes, but I don't think we really need to talk about that. We did have a site walk on, Oaken Wall Farm Preserve, which is really nice because we have a lot of volunteers that want to help out. And, so that was good. And we're finishing up the passive recreation plan, which was required because of the Nature Conservancy funding. And that will kind of guide us as to where we can have the trail. And so it's nice to have that moving forward. It's a really pretty property. So anything else that anyone has? No?
No, nothing on the agenda.
I want to look at the mapping for you.
Oh, okay, sure. Did you, Barry, okay. Can I have a second for adjourning the meeting?
Peter did.
Yeah. Yeah, all those in favor?
Mentally, I.
I roll
Denton, aye.
Schofield, aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All
Have a
right.
good night, everyone.
Yeah, you too. Thank you.
Send you, Cass. I don't know if you can see me or not.
I can actually.
You can see it.
Oh,
You
okay.
can see your
I
chest.
see-
Oh. I don't know how these things work.
Maybe the top of your head depends where the camera is.
there are buttons.
Oh, Kathy.
Uh,
Yeah.
Kathy Oh, thank you for doing all the weeding and, work at Founder's Park.
Oh, my pain and my pleasure. Yeah.
Yeah, it looked great.
Yeah, the Boy Scouts really brought it home. Thank goodness. So, no, I was reading what you guys were talking about at town hall, and are you weeding again this weekend?
No, I want to put down the, compost though. And, possibly the mulch, and probably not this weekend, but maybe
Just
next
take
week.
one.
All right, keep me posted.
All right, yeah, I want to stop recording this meeting.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
I can't find the.
The mute button.
And Hazel had some really good ideas, and I think it'd be great to, maybe have a chat and see what she's thinking.
Yes, that sounds good. I think I have to, there we go. Okay. Sorry. We'll stop this meeting, stop recording. Goodbye.
Bye.
There you go.